Hello. Today I'm going to talk about Spider-Man and how his story reflects themes that are common in mythology, especially the idea that suffering is necessary for transformation. In many mythological traditions, heroes don't become heroes through comfort or success, but through hardship, loss, and responsibility. I think Spider-Man is a good example of this in modern storytelling because his journey reflects many of the same patterns we see in classical myths. Now, the grand question I have is, why is suffering central to becoming a hero in mythology? Many mythological heroes develop through struggle or hardship. Scholars like Joseph Campbell argue that heroes grow through difficult experiences that force them to change and mature. Similarly, scholars who study superhero stories point out that modern heroes often follow the same pattern of growth through adversity. In other words, suffering isn't just something that happens to heroes, it's often what shapes them. Joseph Campbell described a common narrative pattern called the hero's journey. According to Campbell, many myths follow a similar structure where a hero leaves their ordinary life, faces challenges or suffering, and eventually returns transformed. The idea is often called the monomyth, meaning a universal pattern in hero stories. Research also shows that people sometimes interpret their own lives through a similar narrative of struggle and growth. Spider-Man fits into this structure very well because his story involves transformation through hardship. One of the most important moments in Spider-Man's story is the death of Uncle Ben. This event becomes the turning point that transforms Peter Parker into Spider-Man. Peter realizes that his earlier choices indirectly contributed to the tragedy, which forces him to confront guilt and responsibility. The famous idea that with great power comes great responsibility becomes central to his identity as a hero. But suffering in Spider-Man's story doesn't end there. Throughout his life, he continues to face loss and tragedy. Scholars who study hero narratives argue that these kinds of experiences are often what defines a hero's transformation. In many mythological stories, suffering represents the lowest point of the hero's journey. However, it is often also the moment that pushes the hero toward transformation and moral growth. The idea appears in many hero narratives. Scholars have argued that suffering helps define the hero's identity because it forces them to make difficult moral choices. Spider-Man reflects this pattern because the hardships he experiences shape his sense of responsibility and his commitment to helping others. Another important aspect of Spider-Man's story is the tension between his personal life and his responsibilities as a hero. Spider-Man constantly balances his role as a superhero with his normal life as Peter Parker, and he often sacrifices his own happiness or personal goals in order to protect others. This theme of sacrifice and responsibility appears frequently in modern hero narratives, and it reinforces the idea that heroism often requires personal loss or struggle. Many scholars argue that superhero stories function as modern forms of mythology. Even though these stories are set in contemporary settings, they still explore the same themes found in ancient myths such as sacrifice, responsibility, and moral transformation. Spider-Man is a clear example of this idea. His story reflects the same patterns that appear in traditional mythological hero stories. The struggles he faces are not just personal challenges. They are part of a larger narrative about growth, responsibility, and moral development. Overall, Spider-Man reflects many of the same themes found in mythological hero stories. His journey shows how adversity... Oh, did it not? Okay, sorry. Overall, Spider-Man reflects many of the same themes found in mythological hero stories. His journey shows how adversity and suffering can lead to transformation and responsibility. Just like heroes in ancient myths, Spider-Man becomes a hero not because life is easy, but because he learns to respond to hardship with courage and responsibility. This is one reason why superhero stories continue to resonate with audiences today. They reflect timeless themes that have existed in mythological storytelling for centuries. And this is my references page. Thank you for listening.